welcome to today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we are here today with my very dear friend, Marlyn Tillman. Marlyn is the Director of Gwinnett SToPP, and she is what I call a good troublemaker. And I've had the pleasure of knowing Marlyn for a few years now, and she does a lot of work in the school, stopping the school to pipeline prison here on the local level, and she also works in conjunction with some coalitions out of DC. And I will let Marlyn tell you more about the dynamic work that she's doing in the community.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And thank you for this lovely food.
We try to feed you.
I know, right?
Yes. I can't wait to dive in. So I am the Executive Director, co-founder of the Gwinnett Parent Coalition to Dismantle the School to Prison Pipeline, Gwinnett SToPP for short, because it's a mouthful.
Gwinnett SToPP.
Gwinnett SToPP.
That's a nice name.
Absolutely,
Right.
to stop the school to prison pipeline.
That's right.
And so we organize parents, students, community members around just what the name says, dismantling school to prison pipeline. We do our work through policy advocacy work, pushing for and against policies that impact the school to prison pipeline. We also do a lot of public education. So with that, we hold workshops, we run a Parent Leadership Institute. We're about to restart our Youth Leadership Institute. Both of those are longer term training programs that are designed to build and shape education advocates. On just what the name says, dismantling school to prison pipeline. And so for those who don't know what that is, school to prison pipeline, students are funneled out of their regular education setting and into alternative education settings, as well as the criminal and juvenile justice system. It primarily impacts students of color, males, students from low wealth backgrounds, and students with disabilities. And so if you hit every one of those, you're at the highest risk of being in the school to prison pipeline.
So when you say it's funneled, like in what way?
So through the disciplinary process.
Oh, so for example, if a child that's of color, like skip school or get in trouble, like commit a crime, like what do you, can you give some examples what that might look like?
Yeah, so what happens? So like I said, through the discipline process, this phenomenon tends to happen. And it's not just Georgia. Unfortunately, it's national. And so with that process, so let's say a child was hitting, it gets characterized as assault. And so when you start to criminalize children in what's normal misbehavior, and we're not saying don't discipline children, but discipline means to teach.
That's right.
That's right. And so we teach children when they can't do math. We teach children when they're struggling to read. But when it comes down to discipline, it's the punishment.
Right.
And so we like to shift that narrative away from punishment to consequences. There are consequences, good and bad, for any and every behavior.
That's right. I used to teach my kids
what we're trying to do.
You can do whatever you want to do in life, but there are consequences.
Absolutely.
So that should guide how you behave and conduct yourself.
Everything is not about something that's punitive.
Right.
There are other ways to learn. I don't know anyone that learns well when they're constantly being beat, bashed, targeted, any of that, right? And so we have to teach those behaviors.
So Marlyn, this begs the question. You started Gwinnett SToPP, and you started it in Gwinnett County, and Gwinnett County is supposed to be this shining star on the hill, right? Why did you found Gwinnett SToPP, and where did you see the need, and why did you see the need?
So I am an impacted parent.
Okay.
My oldest son, we moved here from out of state. I learned so much in those first few months of moving here. So when I learned that children who move here from out of state tend to have a target on their back. My son was a very self-assured child. He knew who he was, still does. And so they saw that as we have to break him down and we have to get him back in his place. And here, you know, children are seen and not heard. And he didn't come from that environment.
Right.
So he was very much a speak up, will advocate for himself, and that's all the things that get you in trouble. But he was being targeted for his clothing, benign clothing, things that you would not even think of.
Really?
And they labeled
By administration?
By administration.
Okay.
And so things that you would not think of were being labeled as gang attire. And so everything that he wore, it seemed like
Colors and everything.
Colors. And, you know, for me, first moving here, I was like, wait, we moved into the gang area? Y'all should have told me that Brookwood has gangs. Okay, because we would have never have come here.
Right.
Snellville Crip.
Right.
Exactly.
Cut it out.
And so I was really shocked and appalled that they're doing this. And then starting to question my own decision making and my research in moving here because I did not see that. And so they insisted, oh, okay, well, there are no gangs. We want you to, oh, okay, then why are you saying, how does he get to these gangs? And if they're not in your school, where are they?
Right.
Oh, well, see, he's representing, and that can be dangerous. Well, why is it dangerous if there are no gangs here?
Right.
And who's he representing to? And give me this list. They couldn't give me a list. They said they just know it when they see it.
Oh, okay.
So they get to tell you.
They get to, yes.
So your son was
And
targeted, and were they trying to suspend him from school?
They did.
Okay.
And some of it I got rolled back and through advocacy and pushing back against this because that's ridiculous, right? I told him if he's part of any gang, it's the Tillman gang. And
I know that's right.
And I'm the head.
I know that's right. Okay. I know that's right.
And so what made the leap for you to find like-minded parents that you joined with?
So in just talking to people to see what they're experiencing was this, and at the time we moved here, the county was whiter, the schools were whiter. Was this something that happens only to black children? I found that it was happening more to black children and was more pervasive with them. The moving from out of state happened somewhat to white children too. It just depended on how they presented themselves. But it was definitely the black children.
No question about it. It was very clear.
They tried to go after my youngest, who's a very quiet child who likes to blend into the walls.
Right.
And when they went after him, I said,
You know that there's something
there's a
wrong.
problem.
Yeah.
Right.
now you're doing something, and you thought I was something with the first one, you didn't say nothing.
Right.
And so because of the background that I had when I moved here, I was a parent advocate in my previous state. And so I knew where to look for information.
Okay.
And I started digging immediately and talking more to people. Unfortunately, I ended up filing a lawsuit against Gwinnett County.
Wow.
And so I talked to parents even about that. Join us. Unfortunately, Gwinnett has a way.
Did you end up having to file a federal lawsuit?
It was, of course.
Wow. So why did it have to go?
Because they just kept pushing and they were insistent that it's their way. They are always right. And you could never be wrong. However, a federal judge saw that very differently.
Good. Congratulations. Good.
And so, but parents should never have to do that.
Right.
Right? And so what if you aren't that parent who could do that? Who knows to do that? Who can dig and find? Now, I found, thankfully, a civil rights organization that was willing to take that on. But what if you don't? And why should you have to?
And like you said, you already had experience from your previous state, so you knew how to do some of the work.
Absolutely.
But that's why it's so critical right now for us to have this podcast and have you here so you can help parents who may be experiencing the same thing right now today.
And the first thing that I in talking to other parents is that everyone was feeling the way that they tried to make me feel, which was, it's just your child. Everybody else is just fine. But when you talk to other parents, you learn about other challenges, issues. You learn about what's the good direction to go down to get this and that done.
I'm sorry.
And so parents have to talk to other parents.
I'm sorry. It makes me feel like this may be way out of pocket, but like slavery, when they try to keep you apart so that you couldn't
Absolutely
coordinate and have a movement. So if they tell you just you, then tell you just you, tell me just you, then no one
gets together.
You know what I'm saying?
No one gets together. And I was determined that everybody's going to get together.
That's right.
Which is why the parent leadership was born, to help train parents, get you together with other parents who are experiencing a lot of the same things. And one of the things that I really, really love about parent leadership is that parents come together and the solutions are in the room.
Yes, that's right.
If we get to talk and just be able to brainstorm and go back and forth, and somebody might have already solved the problem that you're having and found a path through.
Right.
Talk to them.
Right.
Before Gwinnett SToPP was formed, I was just, me and the other co-founder was just helping parents in the community. And our name got passed around, our phone numbers got passed around. So when parents find, hey, that's somebody who can help, who will talk to me, I stopped asking people about just how they got my number, how did you find me?
Because you're out there.
I didn't know any of the people they were naming. So as I said, parents need to talk to each other and share the information. And speaking of parents talking to each other, sharing information, we have the Leadership Institute running right now.
Okay.
And
now, what is that? What is that?
So the Parent Leadership Institute, like I said, builds advocates.
Okay.
And this year, we've revamped it a couple of times, but this year we've revamped it to look at the Gwinnett County school budget. And is it equitable? And are children getting what they need? And so I wanted to issue a report on that, kind of like a diagnostic. However, the class voted and they wanted a report card, so we're having a report card. But on September 24th, which is a Saturday, we're going to have a public session where we invite the public in, and we're going to review the first draft of this report card. And we want people to come and tell us, what's good, what's bad, change this, just give us all their feedback. Because this is supposed to be a community tool.
How do they sign up?
Oh, go to our website.
Okay.
It is Gwinnett SToPP, and SToPP is with 2 P's, .org. So www.gwinnettstop.org, and you can just sign up. It maybe scrolling across the front, but if not, look under events, and it is definitely under there. And we also have the Week of Action coming up, which is about my shirt from another
National
year.
Week of Action against school pushout.
That's right.
So you're going to explain to us what school pushout is, but first,
prison pipeline.
But it is. But first, I wanted to ask about the Parent Leadership Institute. How long is that? I know, but I want others to know how long it is. How long does it last? And what happens at the end?
So it's varied a little bit. This year we're running it in a way shorter time span and packing all the classes in at the same time. When I realized it, I said, I guess we didn't shorten it. But generally it's an 8-month program. We meet monthly. Monthly are training sessions. You are put in teams to work on a community-based project that impacts the school-to-prison pipeline. And so we bring in subject matter experts. We also do some of the training ourselves and get people ready and offer them support while they're going through it to do the project.
This is amazing.
So one of the things that has come out of parent leadership is one group learned about PBIS. And so once they learned about it, they realized that, hey, wait, there's a parent part that nobody's implemented at my school. And the parent happened to have been asked to be on the local school council, which is a whole other story. You should never be asked to be on the local school council, but we won't go there yet.
How to get educated.
Yeah. And most people don't even know that there are local school councils.
Right. That's right. And finding it is a needle in a haystack. Even though it's Georgia law. Every school in Georgia must have
a
one
local school council,
unless you have waived out through being a charter district and specifically said, no, we're not going to do that.
Each school,
Every school.
elementary, middle, and high school.
Yes.
Stop playing.
So when this is over, go to the school that your kids went to. Go to their website and look. And try to find the local school council. If you cannot find it on the school website, try the county school board website to try to find it. And I'm telling you, you are going to.
And you have to report back. And you have to report back what you found.
Yeah. Because your kids went to the same high school all 4 years, right? And you never heard of a local school council.
I heard of PTA.
Nope.
This is not PTA.
It's not PTA.
Am I alone in this, people?
No.
Let us know. Comment, share.
Yes, if you've heard of your local school, know what the local school council is, know anyone who's on the local school council.
Ooh, that's another
and how they got on the local school council. Let us know.
That's right. Comment on Conversations with Karen and Kat. Get out of here.
Yes.
So, full disclosure, this is my third time doing the Parent Leadership Institute. I guess I'm just a slow learner. But,
There's so much information you have to learn. I mean, you seem like it's a ton of stuff.
She's a repeat offender.
That's a good one, right? Good trouble.
And the very first year we did it, pre-COVID, we actually went down to, wait a minute, was that with you or was that with, I might be getting you confused with, no, that was still part of your organization when we went down and for a day at the Capitol and to talk to our legislatures.
I think you told me about this.
Yes, and I was telling you, but I was looking for my state senator to ask a question, and I told you that story. So,
can we name names?
We're not going to do that. I need you to behave. I need you to behave.
You should go to the Capitol and look up the state representative.
So we went down to the state capitol. We were looking for our representatives because we wanted them to vote a certain way on a piece of legislation that was up. So we did some advocacy work. And we also, one year, were advocating about a bill that we wanted to go through, and we wanted to see how they were going to vote. And so we went to the sponsors of the bill to try to get it moved out of committee. So there's some real tangible things that we're doing and have done. And this year, as Marlyn was saying, we are looking at the budget. And it's interesting.
When you start to learn,
is there
really transparency?
And you look at this huge document.
Wow.
So tell us, how did you get this huge document?
She's stupid. I can't fool with her.
I got mine from you.
Absolutely. And let me tell you how I got the huge document instead of the 100-page one that they put on the website, which is
you had to do an Open Records Act?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Always have to do the Open Records request to get documents. We should not have to do that. And that's something we teach about in parent leadership too, how to do that, how to get information, how to get data, how to get policies, how you get to navigate the system. Wow. And this is a system we're all funding.
That's right.
And we should have a say. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Oh, we were tasked with going to a school board meeting. We were tasked with going to a local council school council meeting.
If they could find it.
If you could find it. Because for a lot of them, for the schools, they had, by the time we got into the project, they had already met. And they were only meeting like maybe once in that fall and then another time in the spring or something.
They're meeting publicly. Because they have to meet more than that.
Technically, they are meeting publicly, but if the public doesn't know, who's in there?
Y'all are killing me.
Just research your local school council.
But yeah, I mean,
so on our website, we have a report that we did on local school council, and it was done some years ago on how to strengthen it because it's already rooted in Georgia law, right? And it mandates that parents are in charge of this local school council. Parents direct it, they lead it. The school works in collaboration with the parent members. And by law, it has to be a certain number of parents, certain number of staff members. And you can increase your numbers, but you can't go below. And so for you to have never heard of it, doesn't it make you?
Well, no. Like, so what about the advisory boards that you have in schools? Not the same, huh?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, people. I know
It's
I am
called
not by
divide and
myself.
conquer, right?
Right. Let's just talk about
And
it.
so there were some parents who were in PLI. What they discovered with their local school councils is that there was, by the time they heard about it, there was just a list that was presented to say, like, these are the people who are on the local school council.
And you're supposed to be elected.
Right.
So notice I said that the parent said that she was just asked to be on there. You're supposed to be elected by the parents in the school. So not
So they
not
get
the
you to-
principal walking up to you and say, hey, you want to be on this?
Right.
We need some parents on there.
Or grabbing one of their friends.
And a lot of
But they
times
recruit-
what they do is get teachers who also have kids in the building. And now they've double
Maybe some of the
represented.
teachers who incorrectly punish our children instead of, wow, y'all are something.
Ideally, the local school council is supposed to be people from the community,
Right.
like folks who have businesses in that school, where that school is zoned, parents, people from the school. So it's supposed to be this collaborative
community kind of based thing to support our children.
Yeah.
Gwinnett SToPP, folks. Gwinnett SToPP. Okay.
So we talked about the policy piece and teaching parents how to, informing
Right.
parents how to advocate and find resources to advocate for their children. But then there's also a piece where you have some connection to Washington, Department of Education. Can you kind of talk about that? Like some of
Put the pointing in my mouth.
Sorry, question.
Isn't that how it works, right?
No, because I know that you collaborate with some pretty powerhouse organizations, and you go to Washington sometimes to, sit with bigwigs.
A bunch. Which now we got to figure out how we're going to go back to doing it a bunch.
Oh, really?
Now that COVID is,
Right.
we're learning to live with it.
That's right.
Because it hasn't gone away. We're just learning to live with it.
Yeah, we're just learning to
We're
live
going to have
with
to
it.
learn how to live with it.
And so with that, so some of the organizations we partner with to do our national work is, our primary one is the Dignity in Schools campaign.
Okay, say it again.
Dignity
gotcha.
in Schools campaign.
Which is
And they
dignityinschools.org on your shirt.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so Dignity in Schools is a coalition made up of around 130 or so organizations around the country that are mostly parent-led organizations, youth-led organizations, legal advocates, and researchers. And so we come together to create policies, to be able to impact policies and policymakers. So through them, we do a lot of our national work. So we've connected up the NAACP, Legal Defense and Education Fund, supports them in helping them do the advocacy work. We also have worked with Advancement Project, what is it? National Council for Youth Law, Open Society, just all the who's
That are doing work in policy
are
and
doing
education.
policy work on the Hill, have relationships. And so what we bring to the table is lived experience.
Yes.
Right? Because policies are not about you making a policy for policy's sake. Policies are supposed to help and support people.
Correct.
And so I was very, very proud that we've been part of getting the, some of the components of the Every Student Succeeds Act implemented, which is something that is our federal education law. That's the new marketing name. The old one was No Child Left Behind.
Right.
Everybody knows that one, right? So the new marketing name, because every time they reauthorize it, they give it a new name. Yes. So the federal education law, which technically is called the Elementary Secondary Education Act. So don't let people tell you that, ooh, it's a new,
no, it's
reauthoring, adding stuff in. So we got parent engagement.
They just changed the lipstick color.
Right.
Exactly.
Like iPhones,
exactly.
right? That's crazy.
And sometimes they do it like the I can't phones in that they break your last one to make you get the new one.
That's right. Say I can't phones.
But so with that, we got required parent engagement in the schools. They must meet with parents and community members to put forth policy. I don't know if you all have noticed about the meetings that are being announced within Gwinnett, the Parent Advisory Council.
We did get some emails on that.
Yeah, that's part of that, that required parent and community engagement. What I haven't figured out is why none of that lives on their website and they still only want to email it. And somehow I don't ever get the emails.
It's been
I don't know how that is. I know.
You got to have a current student, maybe? Because that's how...
I'm a community member.
Right.
I got it as a parent.
Parents and community members.
Okay. So I received it as a
know what
parent.
we advocated for.
Gotcha. So I haven't seen that. I got it as
all
a
of
parent.
us should get it.
Right.
I got it as a parent.
And so if you've ever connected with them, they should be able to give it to you.
Right.
And they don't. I've given them my email address. I mean,
And you're still
sometimes
not
I
receiving
refuse to sign up because I know what they do with the signatures, but that's another story.
Ooh,
and so,
we got to bring you back.
They have my email address. God knows I've held them up from them not they were supplanting funds and not supplementing, which federal law requires. So I don't know if that discussion had anything to do with it. But so we were part of that. We also were part of the advocacy that got the civil rights data collection expanded, and it now includes student discipline. It includes per pupil spending. It includes a wider array of metrics around achievement.
Because these were numbers that the schools have to report to the Department of Education.
Yes.
And
yes.
so...
And thank you. Don't let me keep doing that.
She knows how to facilitate it.
But this is information that that local schools are required to report
to the feds. And yes, and it's every other year that they report. Unfortunately, it takes the feds about 3 years to get it on their site, so the data runs behind. But it was still the beginnings, because initially when Gwinnett SToPP formed and we tried to get data from Gwinnett County Public Schools, they told us it was going to cost us close to $10,000.
Oh, girl,
they were trying to do an open... we
did an open records request. You can be charged for an open records request.
And that's true. But
and I told them, this is at least 6-7 years of my taxes that you're asking for at one time. So we didn't get it. And the former superintendent, when we met with him, said, I'm not about to give you the gasoline and the matches to go forward into the community with.
And she said former superintendent.
I did say former. The former guy. Ooh, I almost said my nickname for him.
And so why, don't do it. And so why this is important is because this data that was being sent to DC, when you drill down to like disciplinary data, it wasn't aggregated for race, for special education. So if you're looking at statistics that say that the school only disciplines 1% of their students, right? But then the school system has 30% African Americans, and then you look and you see, we'll just say 10% of that 30% of African American students are getting disciplined. And these are all just numbers. So that 1% that's getting disciplined means nothing to Black and brown parents who are concerned how their how their children would be impacted. So if I can look at data, you can look at data, and any other parent can look at data and show this school system disciplines 10% of its Black students and 7% of its Hispanic students, and you can look at that data.
We're disproportionate by twice as much. So Black students represent about 30% of the student population, and we're represented in about 50 to 60%, depending on if you're looking at in or out of school.
And the school discipline represents the community's discipline.
because it starts.
Right.
It starts.
And I was going to say, and we didn't even get into the policing.
Right.
So that's
And
why
if
the
we
work
cut
that they
out-
were doing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's why the work that Gwinnett SToPP is doing is important, because now this data that's going up to DC has to be aggregated so that it's meaningful for the community.
To everyone.
Correct.
And the great thing about the civil rights data collection, which is ocrdata.ed.gov.
Say that again. I mean, see, we got to leave people with some nuggets here.
ocrdata.ed.gov.
Okay.
You can create your own little fact sheets. You can you can compare different schools. You can drill down on whatever you want. One of the things that I became acutely aware of with my own children going through school is that they were frequently either the only black male or one of two black children or the only black child in AP, in gifting. For my youngest, who was on a STEM track, he was always and here we go, Brookwood High School. There were two black males on that same track, and they never got in the same class. How is it?
Wow.
But yet,
I just say keep them.
But we're overrepresented in discipline, but underrepresented
and
in
this same
opportunities.
school will tout what the number of students that they have in AP classes and the number of AP classes that they offer. But when you start looking at the numbers of who's in it, that's why it's important.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's why the data.
We have to have data, and then we have to have policies that are made based on what's happening. So that's through not just quantitative data, but qualitative data. We need to know what people are experiencing. We have to hear those stories. So on the federal level, that's so important. And one of the things that Gwinnett SToPP came to understand very early on, if you can't get resolution at your local level, you have a state level.
That's right.
You have a federal level. And you just keep going up that chain, and you will find someone. That was what we did in the very beginning, because we couldn't get movement out of Gwinnett County Schools. So we went to the state DOE and our state legislators and got them to do the movement.
Right.
And then they could tell Gwinnett County
Okay, that's right. That's right.
So and the same with the feds.
How can our parents connect with you, get involved, enroll, and make sure that they have a support system so that they can stop anything that's negatively happening to their families?
So we run a lot of different things to get engaged with us. You can follow us on social media, Gwinnett SToPP, again, SToPP. You can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, Facebook. Somebody told me we had a Snapchat.
Okay. You probably got your TikTok. You know, you came, girl. You have a ride with TikTok.
As you bring in new and younger blood, they do all sorts of things. Right? But you can find us on social media. You can go to our website, again, Gwinnett SToPP.org. And we run, like, monthly, we have a parenting group. That's really, it's Gwinnett Moms and Dads, 411. We do that monthly. It's virtual, so just drop in. We discuss the things that parents get to discuss what they're experiencing. We do a little bit of training in there as well to disseminate all the information that's going on in education, keeping them alert and aware.
Yes.
And they can sign up for the Gwinnett Moms, is it Gwinnett Moms and Dads?
Yep.
They can sign up for that where?
That's on our website, and it's also on all of our social media platforms. Just look for, I think there's a coffee cup in there going on too. But Gwinnett Moms and Dads, and then that meets monthly. We also do like I said, September 24th. We're planning for a week of action. So you can hit us up. There's a contact form on our website. If you're on Instagram, check our link tree. Okay. The link is in our bio, so you can go there and connect with us. We are here. Come get us. Email address is info@GwinnettStop.org. Just look us up. Come get us. We're here.
That's right.
And we didn't mention this, but at any and every school board meeting, you're going to see Miss Tillman sitting there.
I sure will. Pouring going through their policies.
Yes.
That's right.
Writing emails afterwards. Hey, what's this?
Okay, I know that's right.
And we're doing feedback right now. The board has policies up for review, one of which is the Student Discipline Code, Code of Conduct. So please, people, go
take a look at
that.
Yeah.
And Gwinnett is supposed to be changing, and we're going to hold them accountable to being more restorative. So we're hoping with the shift in direction with the superintendent as well as the board that we can really see some difference in policies and how our students are being treated.
We didn't get a chance to talk about this, but did you see the report that came out, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, about Gwinnett and the disciplinary, like the number of students that Gwinnett pushed out of school? You saw that?
Yeah, so of course they said it at the school board meeting. And so we immediately issued a statement. So we joined with, I forgot to say, our other local partner, Southern Poverty Law Center. And so we joined with Southern Poverty Law Center to put out a statement about the changes and things. But the what you're talking about is Gwinnett has assigned more students to the disciplinary alternative school than all the metro counties combined.
All the metro counties
Add up all the metro
DeKalb, Fulton, Newton.
So Fulton County is the largest county. Gwinnett County is the second largest county. And you mean to tell me that they've assigned more students to a disciplinary school than all of the metropolitan counties combined?
That's right. And so, you know, that was where we started when we first started our advocacy. We became aware of the disciplinary alternative centers, which is the GIVE centers here. So, and we really, really pushed around.
So what do we do as parents to continue to fight that? I mean, I know what you're saying and how to partner, but, you know, I'm just furious just listening to this. Are you kidding me? So I'm like, so what do we do today? Like right now, what is the game plan that you can leave our listeners to say, do this right now?
Join Gwinnett SToPP.
Yes. I was getting ready. Yeah. You know where I'm going. Yeah. You have to get up and contact us. You have to join us. You have to join in this work. You have to start to learn. You got to start somewhere, right? We don't look for you to know everything.
Correct. That's right.
You're going to get there. Trust me, you're going to get there. So join us. If I was going to say one action step right now, I want you to pull up any month you want. No. Let me give you a particular month. Pull up the May school board meeting, the 2 o'clock session. Don't pull up the show time at 7. That's you know, a whole bunch of people saying nonsense. And it's only there for them to vote in public because by law they have to vote in public. But where the business is done is at the 2 o'clock session, which just recently moved to 12. But it'll be listed on the website, on Gwinnett County Schools website, gcps.org, gcpsk12.org. And so go pull it up on their website, pull up the 2 o'clock session for May. Watch it.
Okay.
You'll get a whole lot of lowdown on what happened for the first, well, I've been here now 20 years. So for those first 19 years of while I was here, that ended up forming Gwinnett SToPP. And then the turn that they're trying to make. And it's just very eye-opening. If you really want to see what's happening, you really want to have a point, and you're going to be mad. And then you come to us. And we're going to turn that anger into action.
That's right.
I love that.
That's right.
I love that. And so what I'm going to also do is I will look for the for that, because there's also not a diagram, but there is like a pie chart or a bar graph. There's a bar graph that shows the number of students
that goes
comparatively with Gwinnett and the other counties. So I'll look for that so that we can put it in this video.
Okay. Yes,
because I think that's important. People need to see that.
I probably already
have it. You already have it? Okay.
Okay, yeah. So we'll get that and make sure we'll have it for all our viewers.
Yeah.
So then we'll actually maybe try to have that link up there too.
Yeah.
Because we do want to hear from you. Please, 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 not only just reach out and plug in to Gwinnett SToPP, But we also want to hear your feedback. Make comments and let us know, because this is the reason why we're doing this. This is so powerful and impactful, and so many parents I personally know that are hurting from this. And their children are being basically targeted.
Yes.
Right? And how can they learn when we have these shootings, we have peer pressure, bullying, and then now you have the administration coming out.
Right.
Dude, I'm just coming here to learn algebra.
I know, right?
What I'm saying?
Can I just get a class?
Get out of the class, And so we really have to, really put this out, and hopefully this is what folks need,
Absolutely.
a source of support.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times we're afraid to say, I don't know. And it's okay.
And it is okay. Because if you don't say it, how are you going to go get the information?
That's true.
That's right.
Right.
That's
So
right.
you got to start somewhere.
That's right.
I did not start at this point. I had the advantage of starting in a different place where a lot of the parents were lawyers and policy wonks, and that got me started. And then the teachers were all advocates, and they're like, "Hey, let me throw you some information." But you have to start somewhere.
Yes.
And so as you build on that knowledge, you can talk to other parents, you can help inform them, you can join up with Parent Leadership Institute. And we have some of the projects that have happened in the last couple of years on our website, so please go check them out. We've done fact sheets, done reports, there's a community organizing toolkit up there. So there are lots of things, tools and things. If you're going through a disciplinary tribunal, you can also look up on our website to see what that is, what it means, and reach out to us if you have some questions, you want a plan. We also have access to be able to sometimes provide pro bono support for attorneys to show up at the hearings. So that's always useful. A lot of times if they can't come to the hearing, they'll help in the appeal. We'll also prep people for going to the hearing so that they're better prepared, know what to expect, and have an advocacy plan, because all of that requires an advocacy plan. Even if it's not the group, it's still your child, and you need an advocacy plan.
That's some good stuff. So I'm going to ask you this. We always ask folks before we leave, because we're big on wellness, whole body, mind, body, and spirit. What is your one go-to for your mental wellness that you do for self-care?
Digging in the dirt. I am definitely, I don't plant food because it's a lot of work, and I have a whole lot of animals in my yard. And it doesn't matter. The deer like impatiens. Who knew?
What?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. They like lilies too.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Come to my yard and see them chopped off.
Wow. We have rabbits.
Oh, I got them too. I have deer. I have rabbits. I have whatever those little rat things that run around.
Possums, raccoons.
Yeah, there you go.
Rat things. So you like to dig in the dirt.
I do. It is definitely where I find my solace, my peace.
Oh, that's good.
I go out there and I end up staying all day.
Connecting with the earth.
Absolutely. There is nothing more satisfying than planting, watching it grow, tending to it. It's just very, very rewarding. So you'll always know my house that has all the flowers around.
Okay, look, I need to invite you, honey, because all I have is just grass and weeds.
Oh, no, we got to get rid of that.
Yeah, we do.
Digging in the dirt helped me heal after my parents passed. That was my therapy.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
It is. It's very therapeutic.
And I grew vegetables because I wanted to see life.
Yes.
Since I wasn't having any more babies, I wanted to see life. And I grew things on my front porch, out in the back porch. I just wanted to see life. But there is something cathartic and healing in playing in that dirt.
It is. And then if you make your own compost, and you get to
I didn't go that
smell
far.
it.
Now you're doing too much.
We have to bring on some black farmers on here too. We got a lot of people that's doing that. So that's cool.
Yeah. I'll probably switch over to food soon.
Okay.
But not totally, because it's something. The flowers are pretty.
Yeah, they are.
I can show you my flowers.
I have some land for you to practice on, or not practice, just teach.
Right.
I'm ready to learn.
And we're coming to your house with the weeds.
That's right. And with that, my friend.
Yes. Marlyn, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that folks are aware of that you've got coming up?
September 24th.
September 24th.
Register on our website or find it on social media. Also, the week of action, we will be releasing our report card that you're going to come and give us feedback on September 24th.
Okay.
All right.
And so we'll release that. We're also, when does this come out? Well, we may also have another report too, but I'm not going to say what that is yet.
Okay.
So,
All right, good.
surprise in the
Okay.
names.
Oh, yeah.
Always
Stay
got surprise.
tuned. That's right.
And just join us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Gwinnett
so
Stop.
much for joining us for Conversations with Karen and
Yes,
Kat.
thank you.
It was a pleasure. I knew this was going to be fun.
Yeah, as always. That's right. That's
Fun
right.
and informative.
Fun
and informative.
That's right.
So thank you again for joining us for Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Well, we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.